I woke up and I was in this dark tunnel. There was a light on each side of this tunnel, very far off. They weren't like, heaven and hell, and they didn't seem different. They seemed the same. And then I heard a male voice behind me saying that I could be stronger and come back and be okay.
So what did you do? Hello, theologists, sisters and misters.
Welcome to the Coven.
All right, so first week of the month, so you know what that means. It is time to share the next installment of your supernatural timeline.
Did I ever tell you about the time I died?
No. No.
I think this one was before I met you.
Is that why you've been a ghost this whole time?
Yeah, I've just been secretly haunting you.
Honestly, though, at least one day I might be able to monetize it.
Monetize the haunting that you've had.
God knows some people do.
So, I died in the year 2007. And the way that this happened was I was 12 years old and I was in the hospital for something that at the time they had no idea what it was. Now, because they had no idea what it was, they obviously could not treat it. And they thought that my brain shut down from stress. The symptoms were a lot of things, but I lost essentially the majority, if not all, of my motor skills because it attacked my neurological nervous system, the cerebrum. If anybody knows what the cerebrum is, good job. If you don't know, it's the little thing in the back of your brain that looks like a cabbage.
Don't attack the cabbage. The cabbage need to grow.
They wound up doing a spinal tap, which is really painful, especially when you can't control your own limbs. They did a spinal tap on me and found out that it was lupus cerebritis, specifically the most common form of lupus, which is systemic lupus erythematosus. Try saying that 10 times fast.
Yeah, no, that is a lot of words. The first part, wait, can you say the first part of it again? Lupus
cerebritis.
I don't know why, but that sounds like an epic name for a D&D character.
It's called lupus cerebritis because it attacks the cerebrum, so cerebritis.
Well, now I'm just thinking of like a cool-ass mage.
So if anybody wants to send me their D&D characters, maybe I'll draw you a cute image if it's based off of lupus.
Hey guys, so this is my lupus D&D character. Oh, it's just a D&D session where like all of the characters are based off of like autoimmune disease.
Oh my god.
Then you bring me up and it's like, hi, my character's Hashimoto.
Oh my god. I had that too, actually.
I know. Mine wasn't nearly as deadly. Just annoying and made me feel like shit, but not deadly. Not that I know of.
Mine wasn't deadly. It was just, it happened at the same time as the lupus.
Right. So, okay. You were in the hospital. They did a spinal tap, which, ouch.
Please let me tell you that it took 2.5 months to do the spinal tap because they were convinced that my brain shut down from stress.
Oh. Wait, they thought your brain shut down as in brain dead.
Well, not brain dead. Apparently your brain can just shut down and stop working properly from stress.
Oh.
Like extreme stress. And I had just gone through a very bad bout of stress from family matters that I just won't get into.
Valid.
It had caused me to start sleepwalking, and then I started getting really painful headaches that every 6 hours I would need to take, like...
Painkiller?
Like a lot of painkillers, as many as I was legally allowed to have. No 12-year-old should be taking painkillers consistently. If you start having headaches every single day, unprompted by any sort of medication or anything, go to the doctor and get an MRI.
Yeah, no, that's not normal. And we're not talking like a little itty-bitty like stress, like tension headache.
Undiagnosed.
Yeah, go do something about that. Yeah, we're talking to you. Go to the fucking
Uh,
doctor. Jesus.
oh my goodness. What would your mother say?
All right. So,
Lupus is called lupus because it stems from the Latin word lupine,
mhm.
so wolf, and that is because a very common symptom is getting a rash that's a butterfly rash, is what they call it, but it looks like a wolf mask.
Oh, that's why they call I knew about the mask, or like the rash across like the nose and into the cheeks, right? I've never connected those dots.
Yeah, every lupus patient is different. My lupus did not have the mask, so immediately they crossed it off.
Oh, that's why.
You know, like House MD, where they have the little whiteboard, they just crossed it off. They were like, nah,
Mhm.
I can't be lupus. It's never lupus, right, guys?
And then it was lupus.
You know,
So where's the near death part?
because it was lupus and I was still having those massive headaches and I was unable to communicate with anybody, I didn't have control over my limbs or my voice.
Do you remember what that felt like?
Yes, it was incredibly frustrating and I was pissed off all the time. I was just not okay. I stopped eating.
Oh.
I figured starving to death would be less painful.
Wait, so were you in the hospital this whole time?
I was.
And they let you starve yourself?
I was in the psych ward unit because they thought that it was psychiatric.
But wouldn't they just like force you to eat and if you refuse, just like shove a tube down your throat?
We didn't consent to the tube down the throat until it got to a dire situation.
Ah.
I was supposed to eat by noon that day, or they would put a tube down my throat. Now, the issue with that is that because I had lupus, I would have accidentally ripped out the tube.
Because you don't have control, right?
But they didn't know that. They would have thought I would have done it out of spite,
Right.
which, valid.
It tracks.
But my brain was like, if I can just get small enough, maybe I can escape through that vent.
Wait, like that's seriously where your head was at?
Yeah, I was like, maybe I could escape through the vent.
Christ.
But no, you're too short to reach the ceiling, and also you can't walk. So I couldn't walk, talk, control any of my limbs, and it sucked. And that's why I decided that starving to death might just be less painful.
So then what?
My aunt was with me this whole time. She was very supportive. My dad was as well. They came into Boston every single day to come visit me.
Okay, so what is this all leading up to?
It came up to the point where they were going to put the tube down my nose, and
Mhm.
my aunt begged them not to do it. And they said, okay, but we have to do it if he doesn't eat by noon.
Right.
And she was like, can we have it like 1 o'clock? And they're like, okay. And my aunt was like, come on, you need to eat something. They're going to put a tube up your nose. Do you want that? And I'm just like, no, but obviously they can't understand me. So I was like, no.
Oh my
But even
god,
less coherent than that.
that's so sad.
So I'm sitting on the floor with her because sitting anywhere else was just like, I don't know, it was difficult to life.
No.
Like to get me around, you had to put me in a wheelchair and hope that I just didn't fall out or like hit myself or something.
Mhm.
So we're sitting on the floor. She's got like a cup of apple juice, just anything.
Something.
I don't even think it was apple juice. I think it was the Insure.
Mm.
Which there's several types of Insure, but this one is the fattening one, so it's like the Insure Plus.
Yeah.
And it was a chocolate milk one. And she was like, it tastes like a milkshake. Try it. And I was like, man, it wasn't that bad. I was being dramatic.
Right.
But I was just like, Auntie, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Can I just have a nap, please? I'll drink it after my nap, please. I had very little to no intention of drinking that after my nap.
Right.
So I went to sleep, exhausted. You don't have any energy because you don't have any food.
Mhm.
You've used it all to either fight with people, talk, or just move.
Mhm.
I wound up having this dream while I was sleeping that was I woke up and I was in this dark tunnel, and I'm not afraid of the dark, and I haven't been since I was 2, maybe 3, when I had my little Pikachu nightlight. Shout out to Pokemon. Sponsor us.
Never.
What if they did though?
I would be so surprised.
I'd be confused.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Honestly, I'd feel like I made it.
I've made it. This is the peak. This is the end. So there was a light on each side of this tunnel, very far off. They weren't like, heaven and hell, and they didn't seem different. They seemed the same.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what was in those lights because, people tell you if you see the light, either go towards the light or don't go towards the light. I got a lot of mixed signals as a child.
Yeah.
So I was scared because I could hear voices and I knew that I was supposed to go towards them. Like they kind of wanted me to go, but both sides wanted me to go to them and I didn't know what the hell they were. I was scared. And then I heard a male voice behind me saying that I could be stronger and come back and be okay, and that it promised me that I would be okay. All I had to do was take care of my body, and then that spirit or energy or entity, whatever the hell it was, would do the rest.
So something spoke to you in your dream. You're in this tunnel and you just hear this voice, a male voice, asking you that as long as you just took care of your body, as I'm assuming like as in eating and trying to get better, that you would get better.
And it was like, you can have stronger abilities like, say, healing faster, which was never a thing before.
Oh, it was like, okay, so this voice was like promising you.
It was offering me abilities that I didn't have. It was basically trying to make a deal with me.
So did it say exactly what those things would be?
Nope,
So
never
it just,
specified. I didn't ask.
so like, do you remember like that quote?
I don't anymore. Lupus has really taken away a lot of memories because it's in my brain, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to something that's like, kidney lupus or skin lupus or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So this disembodied voice, I never saw any image, decided to make a deal with me. And it was like, hey, when you get up, go drink your drink and, fix your fucking body and we'll be a lot stronger. And I think by stronger, it meant we'll have these magical abilities that you didn't have before.
But obviously, you had no idea at the time.
No, I had no idea. I didn't know what the heck this thing was. I was just like, I'd like to feel better.
So what did you do?
Well, I woke up and I had the Ensure, and
So
then I
like you
started eating normally, and that's when they did the spinal tap, and they were like, oh, you do have lupus, and my dad was like, you fucking idiots, I've been screaming at you for weeks that it was lupus, because my
so,
grandmother's brother died from it at the age of 19.
oh shit. So when you were in that dream, do you remember doing anything? Like did you have to say anything? Did you walk anywhere or did you just wake up?
I was frozen in fear. I didn't walk anywhere. I didn't have to say anything or do anything. I just had to kind of mentally agree or
Okay.
disagree. It seemed to be able to like read my thoughts and understand.
Just like this unspoken. So like what did it feel like in that dream? Just like did it feel vivid? Did it feel
It felt incredibly vivid. So I think that I might have been I might have been between the area where the ghosts plane of existence and the humans plane of existence, meets. My guess is that I was between those two areas.
so yeah,
So I wasn't
you
dead, I was close to dead.
you were in between life and death.
Yeah. Which would make sense for somebody who's been starving for about 2.5 months.
Were you hooked up to like a heartbeat monitor?
Nope, I wasn't in the medical ward. I was in the psychiatric ward. They had no idea if I was living or dying.
So yeah, they would have had no idea if you were like flatlining.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
So to this day, I cannot say 110% that I died, but this feels like I died.
Looking back on that moment, how does that make you feel now?
What, the agreement? The death? Which thing?
The death. Thinking about that, like, I guess in a way, are you scared of dying now that you've experienced that?
I've never once been afraid of dying. I don't know why that spooked me so hard, though.
As somebody who is afraid of dying, I could conjure a guess.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
assume it's probably just because I was already weak from the lupus and the
mhm.
lack of food and drink. So I knew that my body, if I needed to fight from any sort of way, because it was so vivid, my brain was like, okay, so you might need to fight something, like fight or flight and freeze.
Right, and you just weren't able to.
I wasn't able to, and I was terrified, so I chose freeze.
So it's interesting that your fight or flight or freeze is so strong, but you don't fear death.
No. going to happen.
Because the fight or flight is to protect yourself from getting hurt and then dying.
Yeah, for me, it's just to protect myself from getting hurt.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
So I woke up. My aunt was like, "Okay, you need to have this insure." Obviously, I couldn't hold it because my limbs were not able to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So my aunt had to hand feed me and bathe me and take care of me. She had to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, anything that you have to do that involves your neurological system, now suddenly other people have to do that.
I mean, God, that's like basically fucking everything except. Oh God, no, I can't. I literally can't think of a single thing.
Yeah, no, brain go brr.
So you start, eating finally.
Yes, I started with the insure, then I started actually like setting up a meal plan and like pointing to things that I wanted to eat. I tried to point to things I wanted to eat. I wasn't quite able to point to the exact things, so I had to have my aunt read off the menu and then I would nod or shake my head.
Oh.
And nodding or shaking your head was difficult because if I wanted to nod my head, I would shake my head, which would in turn piss me off.
Oh, so it was like flipped?
But if I tried to flip it myself, that wouldn't work either. So
That's
that was annoying.
that is very frustrating.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Like, so now if I had to like think of an analogy, it's like if you had been playing like a platformer like video game your whole life and all of a sudden like none of the controls do what you think they're going to do.
Yep.
That's insane.
And there's a speech recognition thing that just keeps saying, we do not recognize you.
Oh,
So that insanity goes on until they discover that it's lupus. They take me to the medical ward.
out of the psych ward.
Yes. They put me on Cytoxin, which is something that they put cancer patients on as well. And after the first day, I was able to just barely make a single sentence.
Wow.
So yeah, death happened. And that was a very traumatic time of my life.
For obvious reasons.
If you had the option of dying a painful death with extreme headaches and constantly not being able to control your body, or just not eating and dying faster, what do you choose?
I get why you did that. I mean,
It's not a healthy choice.
no, not at all. Obviously, you would never condone that to anybody. And obviously, you being at that age, it's not like you could consent to any other kind of, I guess, like the whole like pull the plug kind of thing. They're not going to humanely kill you if you're 12 and and your adults that speak for you say hell fucking no.
Yeah, but also the adults had a good point.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like as a 12-year-old, you don't know any better. All you know is that what you're feeling is suffering and you're trying to find an easier way out.
Yeah, I had accepted that I was going to die already.
That's
Which a
horrifying.
12-year-old accepting that they're going to die is really horrible.
I have never been in that position, not once. But okay, you're on the mend, right?
Yeah, there's another near-death experience that happened that I'll discuss later on because that's a much more recent one.
Right.
But it involves stitches. And I was supposed to have the stitches in for a certain period of time and then have them taken out so that, the injury could heal.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, it might take even longer because you have lupus for these to heal. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, I guess. No, I healed over the stitches.
Oh.
So they had to very carefully and gently kind of take the top layer of skin and like kind of slice through it a bit to get to the stitch and pull it out. And that's happened with all stitches. So that's one of the abilities that I have.
I mean, I can't wait to hear you start talking about like how you discovered these abilities. I guess that's what you're going to talk about next, yeah?
Yeah. For starters, injuries. Varying injuries. That was the first one that I noticed.
But that's incredible that you had this awful, terrifying, traumatic experience and you came out on the other side physically stronger in many ways.
I swear to God, if you call me brave for it, I'm going to stab
No,
you.
I'm not going to call you fucking brave. You were terrified.
Everybody's like, oh, you're so brave for going through that. I'm like, I didn't have a choice, and no.
Did I say brave once?
No, but,
Yeah.
it sounded like you were kind of nudging towards it, and I was like,
No.
I'm a don't
No,
do it,
that's
don't be them.
No, no. How the fuck could you be brave? You were fucking 12 and embracing death. Like, you were. There's no bravery there. There's necessity and instinct.
Yeah, I gave up. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't fix it.
Okay, question. Do you think that if they never found out what it was and you were still in the hospital, like they didn't do the spinal tap, do you think you would have gone back to that place? Do you think you would have had to make the choice again?
I don't know. See, I think that the decision was made and offered to me because I had a chance.
Okay.
I think that's probably why it was offered. I don't think it would be offered if I didn't have a chance.
Wow. So
If there was no chance, they'd be like, hey, you should go to the left, or hey, you should go to the right.
I wonder what those two lights were. Do you think like one was life and one was death, whatever that is?
Maybe. I have no idea. I didn't go near them, and I have no intention of going near them anytime soon. I've never been back there.
Right. And like, but to this day, that's a vivid memory.
Yeah, it's a very vivid memory.
Like you remember what it felt like.
Yeah. If nothing else, when my memories fade, I remember feelings,
Right. I mean, like words are hard, faces are hard, but like feelings stick with you.
and I felt extreme fear.
God. Have you felt fear like that since?
Yes, with the Vega story.
So Vega came after this or before this?
Vega came after this, so I'm kind of going in a little backwards, kind of mishmash. Sorry, guys.
It's a piecemeal timeline.
I can kind of, like, my brain goes, oh, wait, what about this one? Like, after we've recorded one.
You know, now this makes me wonder, do you think this is why Vega was attracted to you?
Why? Because I had another entity that was making me stronger or something? Or that maybe, like, merged with me?
Is that what you think happened?
Yeah, because I never heard that voice again.
So you feel like that voice might just be a part of you?
Yeah, I think it just kind of merged in with me, and that would explain why it wanted me to take care of the body, because flesh suit need take care of
Right.
if planned to live in.
Now, I know that a lot of more of like the religious spiritualists might say that was your guardian angel. What do you think about that?
My mother has a theory that I'm a fallen angel, so that wouldn't be too shocking.
That being said, that is absolutely terrifying. And thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I don't share that one too often, so it's good to...
I mean, that's why I love this series so much. I learn things about you, even though we've been friends for 10 plus years, that I didn't know about you.
Because we've never needed to... Like, it's never come up in conversation.
It was never, like, I was never like, hey, have you ever died before?
Yeah, like,
Like,
that's not something that you just kind of ask people.
like, it's something that you would share if you felt the need to. And obviously, you never felt the need to until now. It was something that you were like, you know what? There is a reason, and I would like to.
Well, you said go through supernatural timeline. That's pretty damn supernatural.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible. Whatever it was, it's incredible. And I mean, like, whether or not it was supernatural or just a dream, you know, the fact that you came out on the other side, that you took that as a sign to wake up, to try harder, and to get better, like, fucking bravo.
bitches, I lived.
Get you a t-shirt. Bitch, I lived. All right. Okay. Well, thank you again. And thank you for everybody that listened. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this story. I know I did. This was, like I said, this is incredible. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, consider leaving a little comment down below. Just say like
Yeah.
your opinions on it.
And you don't, as much as we love, having you guys subscribe to our Patreon,
Which we say every
time, just
every other
because,
episode.
it's as much as we would love to have you support our Patreon, we do realize that it is tough times right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And not everybody can afford to just sit down and subscribe to a Patreon. The next best thing you can do, comment.
Also, we seriously, we just want to know like what you guys think of this. So if you have an opinion or maybe a similar experience, please, if you're on YouTube, please comment down below. We would absolutely love to hear from you. And I guess that being said, stay spooky.
Bye.